does terrible things to our bodies. Are you all right? You look sad. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you look troubled. Listen, I know this isn't the time or place, but if you ever need someone to talk to. See, I used to be a counselor at the Seattle Crisis Center. Every week I'd listen to the sad, sad lives of troubled women. It nearly broke my heart, but it was an important job, and I was good at it. I even wrote an anti-rape manual. I wonder if the center still uses it. I sure hope so. So let's take a look at this killer, the one who attacked all those poor women. He would not feel guilt. And despite what some people might say, he would not be schizophrenic, okay? It's truly more sophisticated than that. It's a hybrid situation. He's far too complex to be neatly categorized. It's like bouillabaisse. I mean, how do you describe the taste of bouillabaisse? Some remember clams, others mullet. The labels just don't work. Basically, this killer has an intense need, not unlike hunger or thirst. And the condition at first is not immediately seen as a problem. I cannot emphasize enough that this is a gradual development. Long before a need for violence, there would be juvenile fantasies fed by, say, suntan oil advertisements or jiggly movie stars on talk shows or women in skin magazines. The feelings would be different than those where he deals with everyday women because that is over there someplace. Like collecting stamps. He does not retain the taste of glue, so to speak, all day long, but in a broader, more abstract way, it begins to preoccupy him and he becomes sucked into the more sinister doctrines implicit in pornography. The abuse and possession of women as objects. By the way, did I mention I was once considered a bit of a hero around here? Wait, let me read this to you. Dear Ted, I was just at the library doing research on articles about you, and guess what? I discovered you were once a hero. I found an article in the Seattle Times from 1973 where you ran down a purse snatcher and held him until the police came and arrested him. Then I read about you rescuing a drowning boy. I cannot believe they think that you are guilty. What is wrong with the police down there? I am a doctor, and if you ever won, I would be willing to switch brains with you so you could be free of my body to catch the real killer. Sincerely, Dr. C.H. of Chico, California. Okay, the last part of that letter is a little, well, out there, but I think the point that Dr. C is making is a good one. I'm in here, while the real murderer still walks the streets. Let's take a moment to step into the disordered mind of our murderer. Let's say this entity is walking down the street one evening and just by total chance happens to look up into a window and sees a woman undressing. Now this arouses him. Before long, he's peeping in other neighborhood windows, watching women undress. He starts to approach it like a project, one which he could really throw himself into, but like a hobby. But the voyeurism just isn't enough. The disordered self begins to desire something more than mere fantasy. On one particular evening, when he had been drinking a great deal, he sees a young woman leaving the bar and heading down a darkened street. He has an urge, a strong urge to do something. It seizes him in a way which he has never been affected before. Without very much thought, he searches for something, an implement to attack this woman with. Oh, say 2x4. And he follows the woman for several blocks. There's really no control at this point. He gets ahead of his quarry and a girl, and is laying in wait of her. But before she reaches the place where he is hidden, she turns and enters her house. The revelation of this experience, the frenzied desire that seized him, seemed to usher in a new dimension, a doorway into that part of himself that is obsessed with violence and women and sexual activity. On succeeding evenings, he began to scurry around this same neighborhood, obsessed. Finally, he sees her. A woman parking her car and walking to her door and fumbling for her keys. He walks up behind her and strikes her with a piece of wood, and she falls down and begins screaming. He runs away. What he has done terrifies him, truly terrifies him. He is horribly fearful that he will be apprehended. He swears to himself he will never do something like that again. He doesn't go out at night. He doesn't drink. He stays around his friends. For months, the enormity of what he has done sticks with him. But slowly, daily pressures and tensions and dissatisfactions have an effect.